When I first encountered this philosophy, I was intrigued by the promise of a profound, life-changing perspective. The agreements themselves seemed solid, like the kind of guiding principles we all need to navigate life's complexities. They felt universal, a timeless reminder to live with integrity, awareness, and compassion. It's the kind of wisdom that resonates in the quiet corners of your soul, the kind that makes you pause and say, "Yes, this is what I need to hear." But as I dug deeper, my enthusiasm began to waver. It was as if the core message, so valuable and practical, was wrapped in layers of over-the-top generalizations and fluffy, New Age phrases. Don't get me wrong, spirituality and abstract thinking have their place, but here, it sometimes felt like trying to pluck diamonds out of a cloud of smoke. For every clear gem of wisdom, there was an equally perplexing moment that made me scratch my head and wonder if the writer was speaking to my heart or just spinning poetic riddles. Still, I can't completely dismiss it. Because if you have the patience, if you're willing to sift through the metaphors and embrace the occasional, out-there, idea, you'll find something precious. The philosophy challenges you to reframe your mindset, to break free from limiting beliefs, and to approach life with a sense of accountability and grace. That alone makes it worth exploring. But here's the catch: if you're someone who prefers your wisdom served straight, without the garnish of mysticism or the occasional dose of vagueness, this might not be for you. And that's okay. Not every teaching is meant for every person. Ultimately, it's a journey of discernment. Do you have the curiosity to dive in and discover the pearls of insight hidden within the waves of words? If so, this philosophy might just enrich your life in ways you never imagined. But if you find yourself overwhelmed or frustrated, remember, there's wisdom out there for all of us. Sometimes it's about finding the teacher or teaching that speaks your language. Whether you embrace it or set it aside, what matters most is that you keep seeking. Life's greatest lessons are often found not in the perfection of the teaching but in our own willingness to reflect, adapt, and grow. Keep an open heart, and trust your intuition, it's your greatest guide. What if I told you that everything you see, hear, and feel right now is nothing more than a dream? Yes, this very moment, the sights before your eyes, the sounds filling your ears, even the thoughts running through your mind, is a creation of your consciousness. You are dreaming, not in sleep, but while your brain is wide awake, orchestrating a symphony of perceptions. Let that sink in for a moment. The reality you're experiencing is your own masterpiece, painted with the brushstrokes of your beliefs, memories, and interpretations. What you perceive as truth is filtered through the lens of your mind, a lens shaped by your past, your hopes, your fears, and even your imagination. It's like walking through a dreamscape where your thoughts and emotions build the walls, light the skies, and set the stage for every moment you live. But here's the most empowering part: if this is a dream, you are the dreamer. That means you have the power to shape it. You can rewrite the script, adjust the scenery, and choose the story you want to live. If something feels limiting or painful, you can awaken to the realization that it's not permanent. It's just a projection, one you can transform. Think about the moments when you felt trapped by negative thoughts or overwhelmed by fear. What if those emotions were not your reality but a reflection of the dream you've unknowingly created? What if you could wake up within this dream, just as lucid dreamers do in their sleep, and take control? Imagine the freedom, the exhilaration of realizing that the world doesn't happen to you, you shape the world from within. The truth is, life becomes so much more vivid, so much more alive, when you accept that you are both the dreamer and the creator. It's an invitation to live intentionally, to see beauty where it's often overlooked, and to find meaning in even the smallest details. It's an invitation to let go of the stories that no longer serve you and to write new ones filled with joy, love, and purpose. So, ask yourself, if this moment is a dream, what kind of dream do you want it to be? What reality will you create when you awaken to your power? Remember, the dream doesn't define you, you define the dream. The canvas is yours. Paint it boldly. Here's a detailed and emotional elaboration of this idea. Have you ever paused to wonder how the world we live in came to be, not just in its physical form but in the intricate web of rules, beliefs, and ideas that shape how we live? The Toltec wisdom teaches us that this world, the one we call reality, is actually a collective dream, woven from the combined imaginations, agreements, and beliefs of everyone who has ever lived. From the moment we are born, we are introduced to this dream of the planet, the dream of laws, religions, cultures, art, relationships, and family. Together, they create a tapestry so vast and intricate that it becomes nearly impossible to separate ourselves from it. But here's the truth that can shake you awake: this collective dream isn't necessarily reality. It's a creation, a reflection of humanity's shared beliefs and agreements. And if we pay close attention, we can begin to see it for what it truly is. Think about when you were a child. The world seemed infinite, a place of endless possibilities, untethered by the rigid structures of right and wrong. Yet, as you grew, you were taught, through rewards and punishments, praise and criticism, to act and think in specific ways. This is good. That is bad. This is acceptable. That is not. These teachings weren't just lessons, they were agreements you made with the world around you, often unconsciously. Over time, these agreements built a framework of beliefs that became your inner compass, guiding how you think, feel, and act. The Toltec referred to this framework as the Book of Law, an invisible rulebook etched into your mind. The rules in this book aren't inherently yours. They've been handed down to you by society, culture, family, and education. Yet, without question, you accept them as truth. And here's the catch: even when these rules go against your inner nature, when they feel stifling, wrong, or painful, you still abide by them because they feel absolute. Imagine this for a moment. Imagine living your entire life according to a book you didn't write, a book that may not reflect your truest self. You make judgments about the world, about others, and, most painfully, about yourself, based on this book's teachings. I'm not good enough. I need to be perfect to be loved. I can't pursue my dreams because they're unrealistic. These are not universal truths, they're agreements you've made, often without realizing it. But here's where the magic lies. If this dream of the planet is something we've all created together, then it's something we can change. If your book of law is filled with rules that no longer serve you, you have the power to rewrite it. You can begin to question these agreements, to dismantle the beliefs that limit you, and to create new ones that align with your inner truth. This isn't easy. Challenging the dream means stepping out of your comfort zone, questioning the foundations of your reality, and facing the fear of breaking the rules you've lived by. But it's also the most liberating journey you can undertake. Because when you wake up from the dream, you reclaim your power. You stop being a passive participant in the world's creation and become an active dreamer, shaping a reality that reflects your authentic self. So, ask yourself, what agreements have you made that no longer serve you? What beliefs are holding you back? And most importantly, are you ready to wake up and dream a new dream, one that is entirely your own? As we grow and move through life, something profound happens, something we may not even realize. We become our own domesticators. No longer is it just the voices of parents, teachers, or society telling us what to do, how to think, and who to be. We take over that role ourselves. We start to regulate our actions, our desires, and even our dreams according to the belief system that was handed to us long ago. And here's the striking part, this belief system wasn't something we explicitly chose. We didn't sit down and decide, this is who I will be, this is what I will value, and this is what I will fear. No, much of it was imprinted on us during our most formative years, when we were too young to question, too innocent to resist. Through repetition, reinforcement, rewards, and punishments, we absorbed the rules of the world around us. Over time, these rules became internalized, quietly shaping how we see ourselves and our place in the world. Yet, here we are, living as if these beliefs were our own, as if they were carved into stone, unchangeable truths. We tell ourselves, this is just how I am. But is it? Or is it the echo of voices from the past, voices that may no longer reflect who you truly are or want to be? Here's the kicker, even though we didn't explicitly choose these beliefs, we agreed to them. And that agreement is what gives them power. Every time we think, I can't do this, or, I don't deserve that, we reinforce the belief. Every time we silence our inner voice in favor of what we think is acceptable or right, we uphold the rules of this invisible system. This is why challenging our beliefs requires such immense courage. It's not just about questioning what we've been taught, it's about confronting the agreements we've made with ourselves. And that can feel terrifying because these beliefs are the foundation upon which we've built our entire identity. To challenge them is to shake the ground beneath our feet. But here's the truth, the courage to question your beliefs is also the courage to liberate yourself. It's the courage to say, maybe this belief isn't mine. Maybe it's time to let it go. It's the courage to rewrite the agreements that no longer serve you and create new ones that align with your deepest truth. This journey isn't about rejecting everything you've ever been taught. It's about discernment. It's about asking, does this belief uplift me or limit me? Does it bring me closer to my authentic self or pull me further away? And yes, it's hard. But imagine the freedom waiting on the other side. Imagine the life you could live if your actions, thoughts, and dreams weren't dictated by invisible rules but guided by your own inner compass. That's what's at stake here, not just breaking free from old beliefs but stepping into the fullness of who you are. So, the question is, are you ready? Are you willing to summon the courage to look inward, to challenge the beliefs that have shaped you, and to reclaim your power? Because the moment you do, you're no longer just living a life. You're creating it. In our minds, we carry an invisible book of law, a set of rules we believe to be absolute truths. This book governs every action we take, every thought we think, and every judgment we pass, not just on others but, most harshly, on ourselves. But here's the twist, we are not only the authors of this book, shaped by the agreements and beliefs we've accepted. We are also the internal judge. This judge within us is relentless. It hands down verdicts with ruthless efficiency, finding fault, assigning guilt, and delivering punishment multiple times a day. Every mistake, every perceived shortcoming, is revisited like an echo that refuses to fade. We replay our past errors, over and over, punishing ourselves anew each time, as though one moment of regret isn't enough. If you think of hell not as a fiery underworld but as a state of mind, then it becomes clear, hell is all around us. It's in the endless cycle of self-judgment and self-punishment. It's in the harsh whispers of self-criticism, the relentless revisiting of past mistakes, and the constant berating of ourselves for not being enough. Hell, in this sense, is not a place we go to, it's a place we live in, created by the rules of the book of law and enforced by the tireless internal judge. And here's a staggering truth: we humans are often our own worst tormentors. We don't just punish ourselves once for a mistake, we punish ourselves repeatedly. Think about it. You may have made a misstep years ago, and yet, the memory of it haunts you, triggering waves of guilt, shame, or regret every time it resurfaces. It's like being sentenced to the same punishment, over and over, for the same crime. Now, let's consider what we fear most. You might think it's death, the ultimate end. But as Don Miguel Ruiz points out, death isn't our greatest fear. Our deepest fear is far more subtle and insidious. It's the fear of truly living. It's the fear of taking the risk to be alive, of embracing who we really are, and expressing that truth unapologetically. Why? Because for most of us, being ourselves feels dangerous. We've been conditioned to mold ourselves to meet the expectations of others, to suppress our true essence in favor of what's acceptable. From a young age, we learn to live not for ourselves but to satisfy the demands of society, family, and culture. We become experts at pleasing others, even if it means silencing our dreams, hiding our vulnerabilities, or denying our own authenticity. But here's the question that can change everything: what would happen if you let go of the fear? What if you decided, right now, to break free from the book of law that binds you and the internal judge that condemns you? What if you stopped living for others and started living for yourself? The truth is, the greatest risk you'll ever take is simply to be yourself. To stand in your truth, to express your unique light, and to live with authenticity requires immense courage. But it is also the path to freedom. When you stop fearing judgment, whether from others or your own internal judge, you begin to taste what it truly means to be alive. So, ask yourself, are you ready to step out of the hell created by self-punishment? Are you willing to face the fear and take the risk of living fully, unapologetically, as the incredible person you are? Remember, the only way to escape the prison of your mind is to rewrite the rules, silence the judge, and embrace the beautiful, imperfect, and vibrant truth of who you are. Because being alive isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. It's about feeling the fullness of every moment and daring to shine, even when the world tells you to dim your light. Every day begins with a wellspring of personal power. This power is our energy, our focus, and our ability to navigate the world and its countless challenges. But as the day unfolds, this power slowly diminishes, like a candle burning down. It's consumed by the demands of life, the unexpected hurdles we face, and, most importantly, by how we choose to react to these things. What we often don't realize is that a significant portion of our power isn't just drained by external events. It's siphoned off by the agreements we've made with ourselves, those invisible rules and beliefs that govern our thoughts and actions. And when those agreements are negative, self-defeating, or harmful, they don't just take a small portion of our energy. They can consume the lion's share, leaving us feeling depleted, stuck, and powerless. Think about it. How much energy do you spend doubting yourself because of an old belief that says you're not good enough? How much power is lost to the endless cycle of trying to meet others' expectations, suppressing your true desires, or replaying painful memories? These are the costs of maintaining agreements that no longer serve you. But here's the good news: you don't have to stay stuck in this cycle. You have the power to break these agreements. By challenging the old beliefs and rewriting the rules, you can reclaim the energy that's been locked away. This is where the 4 agreements come in. These are not just abstract ideas, they are tools for transformation. Each agreement represents a new way of thinking, a fresh perspective, and a path to regaining your personal power. Be impeccable with your word. Imagine how much energy you could save if your words, both spoken and thought, were always kind, honest, and intentional. No more wasting power on gossip, self-criticism, or unnecessary conflicts. Instead, your words become a source of strength, healing, and clarity. Don't take anything personally. How often do we let others' opinions or actions dictate how we feel? By refusing to take things personally, you free yourself from the emotional drain of trying to make sense of others' behavior. You reclaim the power to decide how you feel, regardless of external circumstances. Don't make assumptions. Assumptions breed misunderstandings, frustrations, and unnecessary pain. By letting go of assumptions and committing to clear communication, you conserve energy that would otherwise be spent on worry, doubt, or anger. Always do your best. This simple yet profound agreement ensures that you give your all in every moment, not to prove your worth, but because you deserve to experience life fully. And when you know you've done your best, you release the guilt and regret that sap your energy. Breaking old agreements and adopting these 4 agreements isn't easy. It requires awareness, effort, and courage. But the rewards are immense. With each negative belief you let go of, you regain a piece of your personal power. With each new agreement you embrace, you become more aligned with your true self. Imagine waking up each day with a well of energy that doesn't deplete as quickly because you're no longer weighed down by self-doubt, fear, or guilt. Imagine having the freedom to use your power for the things that truly matter, your passions, your relationships, your dreams. This is what it means to live a life of intention and authenticity. It's not about perfection but about progress. It's about making choices that empower you, even if they feel unfamiliar at first. So, are you ready to take back your power? To break free from the agreements that hold you back and forge new ones that uplift and inspire you? The journey. Agreement 1. Be impeccable with your word. At first glance, the idea of being impeccable with your word might sound simple. But when you understand its depth, you'll see how transformative this agreement truly is. It starts with the very root of the word impeccable, which comes from the Latin word peccatus, meaning sin. The prefix im means without. So, to be impeccable is to be without sin, not in a religious sense, but in how we use our words and intentions. Your words are far more than just sounds or symbols. They are the blueprint of your reality, the seeds from which your experiences grow. Every word you speak carries an intent, and that intent has the power to either build or destroy. Think about it, words can uplift, inspire, and create. But they can also wound, belittle, and tear down. The phrase, "under a spell," isn't just a metaphor. Words can act like spells. They can shape what people believe about themselves and the world. Unfortunately, many of us unknowingly use words to cast negative spells, both on others and ourselves. The destructive power of words. Far too often, we use our words recklessly, like weapons instead of tools. We curse, blame, and assign guilt. We spread our pain, anger, and frustration, often projecting our own insecurities onto others. Words become vehicles for jealousy, envy, or even hate, infecting others with what Ruiz calls personal poison. This poison seeps into relationships, environments, and even our inner selves, creating a ripple effect of negativity. For example, think about a time someone said something cruel to you. Perhaps they called you lazy or not good enough. Those words didn't just fade into the air, they likely lingered in your mind, creating doubt and diminishing your confidence. In that moment, they cast a spell over you, making you question your worth. Now consider this: how many times have you done the same to yourself or others? How often do you repeat harmful words internally, reinforcing limiting beliefs about who you are and what you can achieve? The creative power of words. On the flip side, words also have the potential to heal, to inspire, and to create beauty. When used impeccably, your words can strengthen relationships, nurture self-love, and encourage growth. An honest compliment, a kind affirmation, or a thoughtful conversation can uplift someone in ways you might never fully comprehend. Being impeccable with your word means using it intentionally, to express truth, kindness, and love. It means refraining from gossip, avoiding unnecessary criticism, and speaking with integrity. When you choose your words wisely, you create a world around you that reflects your highest intentions. How to practice impeccability with your word. Speak with truth and purpose. Before you speak, ask yourself, is this true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If your words don't serve a positive purpose, consider staying silent. Avoid gossip and negative talk. Gossip may seem harmless, but it perpetuates negativity and erodes trust. Choose to uplift others rather than tear them down. Be kind to yourself. The words you use internally are just as important as the ones you speak aloud. Replace self-criticism with affirmations and reminders of your strengths. Set intentions with your words. Use your words to plant seeds of hope, love, and encouragement. Whether it's through journaling, affirmations, or conversations, speak in a way that aligns with the person you want to be. Empowerment through impeccability. Imagine how your life would change if every word you spoke reflected your highest self. Imagine a world where words were used only to heal, create, and inspire. By committing to this agreement, you take control of your personal power. You stop being a passive participant in the spells others cast and become an active creator of your reality. Yes, it's a challenge. Our world is full of negativity, and breaking the habit of harmful speech requires constant awareness. But with every step you take toward impeccability, you reclaim your power and inspire others to do the same. Remember, your words have the power to shape your life and the lives of those around you. So, choose them carefully. Choose them wisely. Choose them impeccably. The harm of gossip and the weight of opinions. Gossip might seem like harmless chatter, but its consequences ripple far beyond what we often realize. It doesn't just harm the person being talked about, it wounds everyone involved. Imagine this: in a single sentence, you can shatter someone's confidence, tarnish their reputation, or ruin their day. At the same time, you hurt yourself by spreading negativity, fueling insecurities, and fostering distrust. Ruiz reminds us of an empowering truth: your opinion is nothing but your point of view. It is not necessarily true. Your opinion comes from your beliefs, your ego, and your own dream. This perspective shifts the focus. Recognizing that our words stem from our personal experiences and biases, not universal truth, gives us the power to pause, reflect, and choose kindness over harm. By being impeccable with your word, you create a shield against negativity. You stop the cycle of harmful speech and set a standard for integrity and respect. Agreement 2: don't take anything personally. Ruiz's second agreement is a liberating and challenging call to action: don't take anything personally. At its heart, this agreement is about freedom from the emotional chains we often bind ourselves with by assuming that the actions, words, or opinions of others are a reflection of us. Why do we take things personally? It's human nature to think that the world revolves around us. This isn't selfishness in the malicious sense, it's just how our minds interpret our experiences. When someone criticizes or praises us, we instinctively make it about me. Ruiz calls this personal importance, the assumption that everything happening around us is directed at or because of us. But here's the truth: the things others say or do are rarely about you. People's words, actions, and opinions are a reflection of their beliefs, emotions, and internal struggles. The cycle of taking things personally. When we take something personally, we open the door to offense. That offense drives us to defend ourselves, often through arguments or counterattacks. This defense can quickly escalate into conflict, which not only harms relationships but also burdens our emotional well-being. For instance, if someone says, "You're not good at your job," it's easy to internalize that statement and feel hurt. But what if their comment has more to do with their own insecurities or bad day? When you realize their words aren't a reflection of your worth, you free yourself from unnecessary pain. Ruiz puts it bluntly: do not expect people to tell the truth because they also lie to themselves. You have to trust yourself and choose to believe or not to believe what someone says to you. Taking neither criticism nor compliments personally. This agreement isn't just about handling negativity, it applies to positivity as well. Compliments, though uplifting, can sometimes lead us to rely on external validation. If you believe someone's praise defines your worth, you risk feeling unworthy when that validation is absent. Ruiz offers this empowering insight: whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. If they tell you how wonderful you are, they are not saying that because of you. You know you are wonderful. It is not necessary to believe other people who tell you that you are wonderful. True confidence comes from within. When you anchor your self-worth in your own truth rather than the opinions of others, you become unshakable. How to apply this agreement? Pause and reflect. Before reacting to someone's words or actions, ask yourself, is this truly about me, or is it a reflection of them? Separate yourself from the situation. Remind yourself that their behavior is rooted in their beliefs, struggles, or dreams, not yours. Cultivate inner trust. Learn to trust your own truth. When you know who you are, the opinions of others lose their power over you. Let go of the need for validation. Whether it's criticism or praise, understand that neither defines you. Your worth is inherent and unchangeable. Empowering freedom. When you stop taking things personally, you reclaim immense personal power. You free yourself from unnecessary suffering and open the door to peace, clarity, and self-respect. Imagine a life where you no longer feel the sting of criticism or the emptiness of unacknowledged effort. Imagine being so grounded in your truth that the words and actions of others cannot shake you. That is the freedom Ruiz invites you to embrace through this agreement. It's not easy, of course. Breaking the habit of taking things personally requires awareness and practice. But with time and effort, this agreement can transform your relationships, your self-perception, and your experience of the world. You are not defined by what others think, say, or do. You are defined by the truth you hold within yourself. And that truth, it's powerful beyond measure. The harm of gossip and the weight of opinions. Gossip might seem like harmless chatter, but its consequences ripple far beyond what we often realize. It doesn't just harm the person being talked about, it wounds everyone involved. Imagine this, in a single sentence, you can shatter someone's confidence, tarnish their reputation, or ruin their day. At the same time, you hurt yourself by spreading negativity, fueling insecurities, and fostering distrust. Ruiz reminds us of an empowering truth: your opinion is nothing but your point of view. It is not necessarily true. Your opinion comes from your beliefs, your ego, and your own dream. This perspective shifts the focus. Recognizing that our words stem from our personal experiences and biases, not universal truth, gives us the power to pause, reflect, and choose kindness over harm. By being impeccable with your word, you create a shield against negativity. You stop the cycle of harmful speech and set a standard for integrity and respect. Agreement 2, don't take anything personally. Ruiz's second agreement is a liberating and challenging call to action: don't take anything personally. At its heart, this agreement is about freedom, freedom from the emotional chains we often bind ourselves with by assuming that the actions, words, or opinions of others are a reflection of us. Why do we take things personally? It's human nature to think that the world revolves around us. This isn't selfishness in the malicious sense, it's just how our minds interpret our experiences. When someone criticizes or praises us, we instinctively make it about me. Ruiz calls this personal importance, the assumption that everything happening around us is directed at or because of us. But here's the truth: the things others say or do are rarely about you. People's words, actions, and opinions are a reflection of their beliefs, emotions, and internal struggles. The cycle of taking things personally. When we take something personally, we open the door to offense. That offense drives us to defend ourselves, often through arguments or counterattacks. This defense can quickly escalate into conflict, which not only harms relationships but also burdens our emotional well-being. For instance, if someone says, "You're not good at your job," it's easy to internalize that statement and feel hurt. But what if their comment has more to do with their own insecurities or bad day? When you realize their words aren't a reflection of your worth, you free yourself from unnecessary pain. Ruiz puts it bluntly: do not expect people to tell the truth because they also lie to themselves. You have to trust yourself and choose to believe or not to believe what someone says to you. Taking neither criticism nor compliments personally. This agreement isn't just about handling negativity, it applies to positivity as well. Compliments, though uplifting, can sometimes lead us to rely on external validation. If you believe someone's praise defines your worth, you risk feeling unworthy when that validation is absent. Ruiz offers this empowering insight: whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. If they tell you how wonderful you are, they are not saying that because of you. You know you are wonderful. It is not necessary to believe other people who tell you that you are wonderful. True confidence comes from within. When you anchor your self-worth in your own truth rather than the opinions of others, you become unshakable. How to apply this agreement? Pause and reflect. Before reacting to someone's words or actions, ask yourself, is this truly about me, or is it a reflection of them? Separate yourself from the situation. Remind yourself that their behavior is rooted in their beliefs, struggles, or dreams, not yours. Cultivate inner trust. Learn to trust your own truth. When you know who you are, the opinions of others lose their power over you. Let go of the need for validation. Whether it's criticism or praise, understand that neither defines you. Your worth is inherent and unchangeable. Empowering freedom. When you stop taking things personally, you reclaim immense personal power. You free yourself from unnecessary suffering and open the door to peace, clarity, and self-respect. Imagine a life where you no longer feel the sting of criticism or the emptiness of unacknowledged effort. Imagine being so grounded in your truth that the words and actions of others cannot shake you. That is the freedom Ruiz invites you to embrace through this agreement. It's not easy, of course. Breaking the habit of taking things personally requires awareness and practice. But with time and effort, this agreement can transform your relationships, your self-perception, and your experience of the world. You are not defined by what others think, say, or do. You are defined by the truth you hold within yourself. And that truth, it's powerful beyond measure. Agreement 4, always do your best. The fourth agreement is deceptively simple yet profoundly powerful: always do your best. But what does it really mean to do your best? Ruiz clarifies that doing your best is not about perfection or pushing yourself to your limits at all costs. If you try too hard and exceed what's necessary, you'll burn out and ultimately find that even your best isn't enough. Instead, it's about giving what you can in each moment, no more, no less. And here's the most beautiful part: your best will change from moment to moment. On a day when you're full of energy and enthusiasm, your best will be different from a day when you're feeling tired or stressed. But the key is to always strive to do your best in whatever circumstances you find yourself. And when you do, you can avoid the toxic cycle of self-judgment and guilt that often accompanies falling short of impossible standards. Why doing your best frees you from judgment. When you consistently do your best, there is no room for self-criticism. If you give everything you've got in the moment, how can you judge yourself harshly? What matters is that you've given what you could, at that point in time, with the resources and energy you had available. But when you do less than your best, self-judgment creeps in. You'll feel guilty for not doing enough, and that guilt will erode your confidence, causing you to spiral into more negative self-talk. By committing to always do your best, you safeguard yourself from that internal critic. Living fully means taking action. Ruiz emphasizes that inaction is the true enemy. Inaction is the refusal to engage with life because you're afraid of what might happen. It's like sitting on the sidelines of your own existence. When we choose to do nothing, whether out of fear, laziness, or indecision, we deny ourselves the joy and fulfillment that comes from living fully. On the other hand, when we take action, when we express who we truly are, take risks, and face challenges head-on, we truly live. Action is the antidote to fear, stagnation, and regret. It's how we create our experiences and leave a mark on the world. The power of the present moment. Doing your best doesn't mean waiting for a future reward. It means embracing the present, enjoying what you're doing right now. If you're constantly waiting for something better to come, you're living in the future, not the present. That means you're only half alive. When you focus on the present moment, you experience life more fully. You stop dwelling on past mistakes or worrying about future outcomes. Instead, you accept what's happening now and find joy in the experience of being alive. Starting fresh after a mistake. You will inevitably break an agreement, whether by taking things personally, using words to harm, or not doing your best. But the beauty of this journey is that you can always begin again. Each new day is a fresh start. Even if you slip up today, tomorrow is another opportunity to try again, and with each day, it becomes easier to live by the agreements. Breaking old agreements to dream a new dream. As children, we are free. We laugh, play, love, and enjoy the world without hesitation. But then life happens. We grow, we learn, and we accumulate agreements that shape how we behave and interact with the world. These agreements, many of which are subconscious, create our book of law and serve as the internal rules by which we live our lives. But these old agreements often hold us back. They limit our potential and restrict our freedom. To break free from these constraints and start dreaming a new dream, we must first understand and master 3 key principles. Mastery 1, Awareness. The first step is awareness, knowing who you are, understanding what drives you, and recognizing the possibilities that exist for you. Awareness is the ability to see beyond the fog of limiting beliefs and see the truth of who you really are. Mastery 2, Transformation. Once you're aware, transformation is the next step. This involves breaking free from the domestication of old agreements. It's the power to change, to shed the beliefs that have held you down, and to step into a new way of being. Transformation gives you the freedom to become the person you were always meant to be. Mastery 3, Intent. Lastly, intent is the force that drives it all. It's the commitment to live with purpose, guided by unconditional love. Intent is the force that brings everything together and allows us to choose a new path, one filled with freedom, joy, and authenticity. A new dream, living as a Toltec. When you break old agreements and begin to live by the 4 new ones, you are beginning to dream a new life, one that is your own. Ruiz describes the Toltec way of life as one where there are no leaders or followers, just individuals living their truth. A Toltec is wise, wild, and free. To live as a Toltec is to embrace freedom, to stop living by the agreements imposed on you, and to rediscover the joy and love you felt as a child. It's about choosing to be who you truly are, without fear or apology. Ruiz encourages us to use our imagination and envision a world where we can see things differently. By imagining new possibilities and taking action, we can create a life that is truly ours, authentic, bold, and free. By applying the 4 agreements, being impeccable with your word, not taking things personally, not making assumptions, and always doing your best, you free yourself from the chains of the past and begin to dream a new, empowered reality. In the end, the goal is simple: live your truth. And in doing so, you'll be free again.